Okay, let's talk about the Chiefs' offense. The Chiefs played their starters a decent amount in the preseason, and I actually think this game against the Bears' first team defense, they really showed, quite frankly, what could scare opposing teams that feel like they could be competitive this year. Because obviously, Chiefs' defense been very good for the past few years. Offense, maybe not quite what we usually expect from Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Well, they have Rashee Rice back. They have Xavier Worthy in a full season. Let's talk about what these guys could potentially do. First, this play, just a screen pass to Worthy. You see Mahomes is going to flip it out to him, but this seems to be pretty well covered by Chicago. So, ideally, maybe you can get a couple yards here, right? I always like to do the guess the yardage totals you're going to see, when I pause it right here, probably 1 or 2 yards, right? Well, it starts off looking that way, but no, watch him make a move and then make another move. He actually picks up a first down on that play, over 10 yards by Xavier Worthy. That's really good stuff. So you have one player you can just get the ball in his hands and he can make good things happen with, and they actually have more than one player you can do that with now. Because now let's go over here to Rashee Rice, who is going to be playing this season. Obviously, last year he was injured, missed pretty much the whole year, which I think was a big blow for them. But they really do want Worthy and Rice to kind of be a 1-2 combo. And Rice was really good 2 years ago. A big reason why they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. See, another screen pass. Mahomes, again, just going to flip it to him. And, this one was much better blocked. But still, you see Rice doing a good job of picking up as many yards as possible. Ended up outrunning his right tackle. Just felt like that was the right strategy. And I think he was probably right. So, yeah, Rashee Rice, I wanted to see how healthy he would look in the preseason. And a play like this can be exactly that. Because, one critique I have had of the Chiefs receiving core over the years, there's been a couple. One is I think they hadn't done a great job being able to win downfield. A part of that was not having the blocking to make that work, but still. Another thing, though, is I feel like they haven't always been able to win one-on-ones. And, 2 years ago, when they weren't really great for most of the year until the playoffs, a big part of why they started getting better was Rashee Rice getting a bigger chunk of the playing time. Watch on this play, you see him, he's going to win this one-on-one. Great throw from Mahomes for the back shoulder right there. And again, if you have Rice who can do this, you have Xavier Worthy who can do this. Well, we haven't seen the Chiefs really have multiple guys who can just win consistently one-on-one like that, probably since they had both Tyreek Hill and, Travis Kelce was in his prime, right? Now let's go over to the other aspect. I brought up the, downfield passing. And one real issue last year, when we talk about the downfield passing numbers with Mahomes, it's actually kind of crazy. He was historically good at downfield passing, and then it's gone to he's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league in terms of stats when he throws more than 20 yards down the field. And while a lot of people have said maybe that's because there's no more Tyreek Hill, that actually doesn't make much sense because Tyreek Hill he left 3 years ago, and the first year he left, the Chiefs passing downfield stuff was still just as good. My theory is it's more so to tackles. But anyway, you see here, this is going to be a one-on-one matchup. This is not one of those receivers I have been mentioning. This is actually Tyquan Thornton. But when Mahomes takes a snap, I kind of care less about that and care more about, look at this pocket. Clean pocket. Tyquan Thornton is just, he's fast, so he's running by the corner he's going up against. But that's what you want, right? You want Mahomes to be able to be protected long enough to be able to throw far down the field. For over the middle stuff, protection doesn't matter as much. The ball's coming out of your hands quickly. But for downfield stuff, you kind of have to hold on to it for a bit longer. You need protection. As you see, Mahomes does make a beautiful throw, and that's with a guy he doesn't even have much chemistry with, and is a kind of a unique player due to his speed, but doesn't matter. Mahomes can hit him. I am of the belief Mahomes didn't forget how to throw down the field in the past 2 years. I think it's less to do with that and more to do with the team situation around him. And I think that if again, Josh Simmons, the new left tackle, has looked good out there. Yes, they lost Joe Thuney, the all-pro left guard. That hurts, but from plays like this, I think having tackles is going to matter more. Of course, heading over to a play like this, I had a couple of these. I'll just show one just because, we get it, but also we should talk about this just because the Chiefs' offense, one thing that it always has that it can go from is this. Mahomes takes the snap. You're going to see pressure does not necessarily come right away. And again, we're not talking about this is not a loaded defensive front. This isn't Pittsburgh that you're going up against. I get it. But still, Mahomes has time. As of right now, though, the time is about to run out. This is the other thing that just makes the Chiefs so deadly, right? Watch Mahomes be able to scramble out. He is going to pick up a good amount of yards, ends up juking out a defender, finally slides down. I'm sure Chiefs fans were saying, well, Patrick, I appreciate the hustle here, buddy, but let's make sure we protect ourselves. But he did. He protected himself eventually. But yeah, ultimately, I mean, again, this is the other aspect of it. So you have the two receivers, you maybe have the downfield passing with a better tackle, you have Mahomes' mobility, and oh yeah, there is still one other thing. Heading over here, let's talk about the, superstar tight end, Travis Kelce, who you have. And, the Chiefs have said they don't want to use Kelce in as many reps this season as they did last season, which I think makes sense. I don't know if he can play 1,000 snaps and be as productive at this point in his career, but he can still run routes, right? This is zone coverage, cover 2 zone. They have the one wide receiver who is towards the top of the screen running a route, trying to push the safety further deep. Kelce will then run a route where he kind of tries to fake as though maybe he's going more over the middle, but then he's going to go towards the top of the screen. And when this play begins, Kelce, again, still is as good of a route runner as you will get among tight ends. Maybe isn't quite as explosive as we've seen, but you know what? He's explosive enough to get past linebackers like he's doing right here, which maybe is all you need for him. So, again, we can sit here and say, is he not the, prime Travis Kelce that we've seen in the past? But as you see here, I mean, he's, makes the grab. It's good stuff by Travis Kelce. And also, okay, again, Travis Kelce is the only person on the planet who is going to get compared to prime Travis Kelce because of just how absurd he was in his prime. Like, looking at his numbers, I mean, you see the list of, 1,000-yard after 1,000-yard seasons. Finally, 2 years ago, he just had below it, and then last year it was a little over 800 yards, so not quite the 1,300 or 1,400-yard seasons that he has had in the past. I mean, the guy's had over 3 seasons of 1,300 yards as a tight end. Like, that doesn't usually happen. Again, like, the argument of who's the GOAT tight end, the only reason why people will say someone other than Kelce is because of blocking. When it comes to receiving, he's undisputably the GOAT receiving tight end. So you still have that. Even if it's not 1,300 yards or 1,400 yards, I'm not expecting it to be. If it's 800 yards, that's a great tight end. That's like a top 10 tight end in football, So, it's not something I'm that concerned about, really. Even if it's 700 yards, it's another player to add to the mix. Again, a few years ago, even just 2022, when kind of the last year we've seen the Chiefs offense be as dominant as we've seen it be, part of that was he was essentially a number one option. He's not that anymore, right? So that is the issue. But when you add on, Worthy has another year, you have Rashee Rice, you now have 3 players who can consistently win, and hopefully enough time for Mahomes to actually be able to pass the ball down the field. Well, I say hopefully, but hopefully if you're a Chiefs fan, not so hopefully if you're a Chiefs hater, which is a lot of people, right? Because I do think that I think this Chiefs offense is going to be better this year. And it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be last year. The efficiency stuff was actually very good. They ran more plays per drive than any team in the league, which also meant that they would have less drives, so the scores at the end of the games would be lower. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Chiefs' kind of new look offense here in 2025. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.